Today I'm going to be exploring Tennessee Route 13 and starting the day here in Guthrie, Kentucky, which is basically the southern edge of Kentucky as we go into Tennessee. 13 starts just a couple miles from here. I thought this would be a good starting point. Hopefully this is a good thing to come. You see a lot of cool stuff like that behind me here in Guthrie. Nice little small town. But why did I choose Tennessee Route 13? If you look at the history of the highway system here in the United States, right in the 1920s when a lot of these roads were started, kind of like Route 66 and US 50, some of those things that I've already explored, there was a lot of these state highways and state roads were started as well. It's an amazing system if you look at it and how complicated it was and how difficult that would have been, and it really changed the United States and the way we were able to explore and travel and move from place to place. And so this is just one of many roads I could explore here in Tennessee, and I've decided this one, and there's a few small towns along the way. We're going to end up at the border of Alabama. Tennessee is not a long state from north to south. It is from east to west. So about 150 miles, maybe 160 miles to get to Alabama. Some curvy, winding roads, hopefully some cool, historic, small town kind of places. And but yeah, we'll head on down the road. We'll head into Tennessee and get our day started. Way up here in the corner of the page, that's going to be where Guthrie is, crossing into Tennessee. We're going to go to Clarksville. It's the biggest city along 13. And then once we get through Clarksville, it opens up. It's pretty rural, pretty winding roads. And on down to Aaron and then heading south. Fort Defiance on the northern side of the Cumberland River went back and forth between Confederate and Union forces during the Civil War. It was started in November 1861 by the Confederates, and then early in 1862, Union gunboats came up the river and took over the fort. Then in the summer of 1862, there were quite a few little battles in Clarksville, and the Confederates retook the fort, and then in September 1862 it was taken back by the Union for good till the end of the war, and it was renamed at that time Fort Bruce. This stop is really cool for me as a track coach. It's the Wilma Rudolph Center. I didn't know that she was from basically Clarksville. She was born in St. Bethlehem, which is just on the kind of northern side of Clarksville. And they have an event center here. Route 13 is named Wilma Rudolph Boulevard for a period of time. If you don't know, she won 3 gold medals and just a pioneer in women's athletics. And I love how on the side of the wall they have her from her start to her finish. As a track coach with athletes, we watch film all the time, and that's basically the angle that we watch it from. And so yeah, I'll have to take this back to the athletes I work with and show them how to emulate Wilma a little bit. Nice little stop. Is an event center, so they have a statue there of her famous finish. You see that in a lot of pictures. As we're heading out of Clarksville, and now we're gonna basically head into the very rural and more open parts of 13. aren't very many towns. There's a few little dots on the map that sometimes we'll find something. Waverly's going to be one of the bigger towns that we go through on this part of the trip. Right here we're going to section off of 13 and go on Old 13 down through Hurricane Mills, and then we'll eventually connect back with 13. There's definitely been some beautiful driving so far. I can imagine in the fall with all the trees being green, it would be spectacular. Even still, you know, in the winter, it's still really nice. So now that we're past Waverly, we're gonna hop on original 13. There's what today is 13, and then there's Old Highway 13. So we're gonna take that. It's you know, a couple parts of 13. You know, the original 13 is still out there. This will be one of them. And then we'll take that for a ways, stop, there's maybe one town along the way there, and then we'll hop back on what today they consider 13. Well, it seems to be my luck. Usually when I go to pretty cool places, they're closed. And the Loretta Lynn ranch and museum and everything is closed today. I'm here on a Monday. That's cool to see Loretta Lynn and how she basically bought this area in the 1960s and turned it into a tourist attraction for herself and her family. It's one of the more popular, I think, tourist attractions in Tennessee. I'm interested in, obviously, the town that was here, Hurricane Mills, and it's nice that they have a historical marker. It talks about, you know, how it was started in the 1870s, and it was, you know, produced the first electricity in the county. And we just were up at Waverly, and it said that there was a line that ran up there, and so this mill is very historic, and so it's just a really beautiful area, and you can see why Loretta Lynn and her family bought it and settled here in the 1960s. So very cool stop along the old Highway 13. There is an exit off the main 13 that'll direct you over here too, but taking the back roads on the dirt and country roads was kind of a fun way. That's probably more like the way it used to be when they first built these roads. as we head into southern Tennessee, we do hit a couple more incorporated towns, but there's just a lot of really beautiful, wide open driving. We head a little bit east there and then head south. Very hilly and interesting terrain. In the last section of the trip, we go through Waynesboro, and then as we go towards Collinwood, we're going to parallel with the Natchez Trace Parkway, and then at that point, we are on our way down to Alabama. So I just went under a bridge, which is a road or a parkway called the Natchez Trace Parkway, and it's a historical road. It actually goes through Tennessee into Alabama and into Mississippi. I actually thought about doing that one today, but decided on US 13 as well, so maybe someday I'll do that. But very historical. There's a actual path, parts of an actual path, and then the parkway, which they made to try to parallel parts of the path. So definitely interesting. If you're interested in some more Tennessee road history, you can check out the Natchez Trace Parkway. So I've been definitely hustling through the last couple towns, so I'm not showing as many things. I'm sure there's a lot more interesting stuff than what I'm showing, but obviously it's getting dark. The sun has set, still a little bit of light out. I've turned the light sensitivity up on the cameras about as high as I can to show you still where I'm going. So we've got a few more miles till we get to Alabama, but looks like we're gonna make it to the end of our trip soon. Whoa. I literally thought that was a real person. Dude, you kind of freaked me out. Wise men, like me. The red lens cat.